G'day y'all, onlydraven here again. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to be giving you just a small tour in 7 Days to Die, which is a post-apocalyptic zombie horror survival game. Adding elements of crafting with things like Minecraft and your post-apocalyptic first-person shooter. Today I'm going to be showing you the underground fortress base I've built. It's not huge, but it is overwhelmingly secure. So starting on the map for where I'm located in the just starting basic map, located near this central lake here. The base that I'm going to be showing you is not where I started. I actually started out there on the water. I made a little fortress, and up there zombies just cannot get to you. I mean, it's not possible. They can't get up there unless they smash the supports. And in early game, they're really not going to be able to take it down. I'll give you a little tour of that later. So that's a place where I started building the supplies and everything I needed for my full-size base, what I'm about to show you. And then I would return there at night, coming back here during the day to build until it was reached a point that I could stay in here permanently. So I carved out a little section out of the hills because you really want to make sure that the zombies don't have the ability to climb up. You want to make sure that everything is enough distance away that they can't get a foothold to get over your walls. I'm a big fan of spikes and barbed wire. I've upgraded all my spikes to steel spikes at this point, which are about almost the strongest you can get. And I like to do 1 or 2 layers of barbed wire all the way around. I go 4 high, and then I put iron bars around the upper layer so that way the spider zombies cannot climb up over the wall. As long as there is something sticking out like this, then they don't have the ability to climb straight up. The lights are craftable, or you can find them using a wrench in the game. They're really helpful, especially at night and on horde nights, kind of giving you enough illumination to see what's coming. So the defenses I have go all the way around, and they're pretty standard. I've only got 1 row of barbed wire around the sides and back, since that's primarily where I see hordes coming from. I've cleaned out all the trees and rocks surrounding the homestead, if you will, just so that I have a more line of sight. I also try to clean as much of the grass around the outer edges so that way it's easier to see crawlers. So I give enough space to crawl around, and then I keep at least 1 inner row to be able to get around the outside for both repairs and, of course, cleaning up after any type of a zombie attack. So we're going to go inside. I've got steel walls all the way around. I've got the polished steel around the door. Now, I use a double door system because your door is where the zombies are almost always going to be attracted to, and it's also going to be your weakest spot. These iron bars and your doors are not going to be as strong as a steel wall, which I have the wall 3 thick at the front and 2 thick at the side and back. For the first 3 layers, the upper layer is just 1 that gives me a ledge to walk around. And with the bars set next to the doors, it gives me an easy way to shoot anybody that happens to get through. I can start with that one, and if they manage to break through that door, I can back up, close this one, and gives me a secondary. I keep a couple chests near the front door with just basic repair supplies. Keep my bike inside, although I am looking to design a better way in and out for the bike other than just the door. It's a little slow and cumbersome, but it does keep my bike secure. Here I have my garden. Right now I'm growing mushroom, corn, and potatoes. The 3 things you really need for vegetable stew. And then, of course, the potatoes and the corn are most important for just classic meat stew, which is the best food that I've come across. I have a couple ladders to be able to get up on the ledge. I can pop up here. I can shoot the zombies as they're coming, as well as shooting down through the iron bars. I like to keep 1 row of spikes on the bottom. I tried 2, but that allows things to climb up. So you don't want to go higher than 1 spike, but that way as they're beating against the walls, they're just continuously hurting themselves. The barbed wire slows them down, gives you time to pop off as many as you can before they break through onto the spikes where they're just, again, going to damage themselves. The steel spikes do a good job of busting up limbs so it makes them crawl, again, eliminating any chances of them being able to climb up. Yeah, there's a couple spots I've accidentally upgraded to shiny steel. Didn't mean to do that there. Forgive me. In the center of the compound, This will all be steel eventually. I have my secondary wall. This I actually built first. This is what I kind of started with. Again, another door, and again, more bars, so that way if they happen to get inside, they can't climb on top. From inside, I do have a hatch on top, which allows me to get on the roof. So in the early phase, while I'm working on it, if they happen to get close before I have this wall up, or the wall's fully steel and they manage to break through, it gives me another fallback position. Also protects me while I'm digging, and that's the primary thing that we're going to do here, because I love to mine. Mining will supply you all of the ore and all of the gunpowder supplies you're pretty much going to need. You can get it once you get a good mine going. You rarely have to break rocks above ground. So we have ourselves a little bit of a ladder going straight down. Now this tunnel is going to go all the way down to bedrock. You want to go down as low as you can possibly go. The lower you are, the less they're going to know you're even there. It allows you to work at night without being sensed. Again, I'm a big provider of defenses. I have another door set here with another set of iron bars. This is kind of a kill tunnel. If they happen to get all the way down to here, then that gives me yet another place to be able to try to pin them, shoot them before they can get through this wall. So this is the main room of the compound, really the only room of the underground compound. You have to make sure you have support beams a certain distance from the wall so you don't have to worry about cave-ins. This end over here in this corner, you'll see another door. This is to where I mine. I mine all night long. At night, I'm looking for all the supplies I need. I rack up tons of iron and nitrate and coal, and unfortunately, rock and sand as well. All the basics that you need in your crafting corner. I keep several forges going, though I do not keep them going at night just to avoid things spawning and attacking my defenses while I'm out mining. Workbench, all the different supplies you need to craft. Up here is kind of where I keep everything that's going to go into the forge to melt over time. I am an organizing fool. I like to have everything organized as much as possible. So I've got everything separated. This is going to be your clothing as well as the clothing that's full level. I only keep one of any individual clothing once it reaches max. Anything after that will go to the trader. Miscellaneous box as well as tools. These are my dump boxes. As I come back from trips, I just dump everything that I gather in here, and then I sort it out at night when I'm not able to be up above ground. My corner here, I've got my spawn point. I did upgrade to the schnazzy bed instead of the bedroll because I'm classy like that. I also have a gun safe where I keep my completed weapons. The chest at the end of my bed is where I keep my cash and my 1 gold nug, because you should always have at least 1 gold nug. Personal preference. A little bit of decorations just for fun. And then this chest near the door is where I pretty much dump everything throughout the week that I'm going to take to the trader. I try to go to the trader once or twice a week, usually on 7th day. Just to look for additional ammo or anything, maybe some weapon upgrades I don't have. So again, I try to keep my forges stocked as much as possible, keep everything to the top. I run them normally throughout the day, all 4 of them. I recommend having a primary forge. It's where you're going to put your brass, your glass, and things of that nature. It's where you're going to put your iron first until you get a stockpile of unsmelted iron. Once you've got a stockpile, then you can start spreading to the other forges and filling them up as well, because you're going to need a lot of concrete and you're going to need a lot of steel to put something like this together. This all down here will eventually be concrete. I may upgrade it to steel. Just depends on whether I have the spare steel to spend. All of this was done in survival mode. I have not played any crafting or whatever the mode is where you don't have zombies, because why are you playing a zombie game if you don't have zombies? It does not make sense to me. So this is kind of, like I said, just the fortress I've put together, and it's worked really well for me. During the day, I look for supplies, I explore places on the map I haven't been, dig up treasures, of course, and then at night, I just mine nonstop, building up my supplies. So again, I chose this location because it was close to a water supply. If we pull up our map here, you'll see that it's not far from a town, and this town here is probably the easiest town in the game of the full-size cities that they have on the basic starter map. Again, this good location. Try to keep an entrance. Now on 7th night, I block those in. When we have a horde night, I will put another layer of barbed wire. I will fill this area with spikes, which is annoying the next morning because I got to break them to get out. But again, the door is the place the zombies are going to be attracted to the most. So this is the finished product, pretty much. And this is going to give you a really well-defended location. I'll film a video on Horde Night just to show how well it keeps everything out. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, I'm going to give you just kind of a brief tour of where I started, because in the early game, you're not going to have enough supplies to A, build that type of a house, and B, to keep it secure or defend it at night, especially on Horde Night. So I started there. I love islands in the middle of the water. Not islands per se, but man-made islands. Regular islands, the zombies would just walk the hell up there. But this was my original garden, and this was kind of my garage where I would get out of the water, warm up, and keep my bike. So we're just going to go ahead and take a quick swim. And there is 2 of these on the starter map that I know of. One here and one on the western side. I've only built this one on this, but it would work in both locations. Now you'll notice a little bit of concrete here, and you're going to notice holes in the water. I'll explain the holes in the water in a moment, and I'll also explain what that is. But the island, the dock, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's pretty much how it was when I found it. I didn't do too many changes other than build a better ladder. I put all these spikes up here early on because I thought zombies might be able to get up here, and in 107 days, I have yet to have one zombie make it up here at all. So this is where I started. Again, I had all the workbenches and stuff in here as well. I broke out the walls and I put stronger wooden walls, reinforced a few of them. Still have my crates and stuff here because it just didn't make sense to move them, my old forge. But this is where I started. Same basic concept as before. And this is still where I would come back at night until I had my other house secure enough to stay in. And even when I was staying there on Horde Night, I still came back here until I finally had the outer walls made of steel. These are just some boxes of some supplies that I had when I was here. That was a dump box for anything that I gathered. Now, holes in the water. I cannot find a way to fix the holes in the water in most locations. If they're near a solid object, it's not too bad, but unfortunately, if it's away from the edge of something solid, there's not really a way to get those filled at this point. Now, why are they there? Because I defended here on Horde Night, and zombies will come running in along the bottom of the water. And so I built this. Oh, there's still bodies. They still kill them occasionally. So I filled completely underneath with spikes. That way, as zombies would try to get to my supports, they would be weakened or injured. I built concrete supports on the front here since that's where they were mostly going to be coming at me from. And then I built a little bit of a place for me to stand. I had these iron bars all the way around, but they kind of broke on the last Horde Night that I stayed here. Let me get up for air here. And so with this location, when the zombies would come, I could just stand here on the edge of the water. And I will try to get up here to show what I'm talking about. And I could literally just stay on these iron bars and shoot down at them while they were being injured with the spikes. And they could come from any direction, but I had it all the way around so I could go around any side I needed. I started running into a problem where the cops were using their acid vomit on me, and it would break these. It gave me no place to stand in the middle of the night, so I built a secondary spot over here that I can swim to if that first one becomes compromised or if the spikes at the bottom all start to get broken. I can come over here, which will then attract the zombies from over where they were. They will come crawling over here, and it gives me fresh spikes to continue injuring them while I pick them off one by one. Now, you can do spikes the whole lake if you wanted to. That's a little extreme because until you get your skills high enough to be able to hold your breath long enough to get down there and do a few at a time, it is time consuming to put these in, time consuming to repair them after Horde Night, and gathering loot from the bodies is a bit dangerous because you could hit your own spikes. But this was a great place to defend, but as you can see, as a couple locations, they did eventually start breaking out some of my supports. I could have concreted all the way around, but by the time I really needed to look into doing that, I had already finished my primary defense base where I was good enough to stay there. So if you are looking for a really secure place to start the game at, I highly recommend using one of these in the middle of the lake docks. Again, there's one here, and then there's going to be another one right here on the map as well. They're right at about the same level. So you can go to either one. They're designed the same. They have the same defensive capabilities. I liked this one just because I liked how close I was to several different relatively easy looting locations. So anyways, that is my base or my defense here in 7 Days to Die on my primary game. If you have any questions about this or you have any suggestions on how to improve that, again, I'm still a relatively new player, so I'm nowhere near being the master of this game at this point. But if you have any comments you'd like to make, I'd love to hear from you. If you have suggestions or things that you thought would have been better, or you have any questions about the design, please feel free to put them in the comments. Also, please remember to like and subscribe to the video. That way you can see additional videos that I put out, not just gameplays, but also blogs and other things as well. And surprisingly, we've not seen one zombie today. I am a little shocked by this. But anyways, so thanks for coming along on the tour of my little defensive base here. If you have any questions about it, feel free to let me know. Thanks for tuning in.